Our topic is the communication process. The communication is a process of establishing connection or link between 2 points for information exchange. So communication is a process in which information is exchanged between 2 points. These 2 points may be transmitter and receiver. Between a transmitter and receiver, there is a channel through which information is exchanged. Information may be in the form of sound, picture, speech, data, etc. So we can say that for communication we have 3 essential things. First is transmitter or sender, second is receiver, and third is communication channel. Transmitter sends information. For example, TV transmitting station, radio transmitting station. These stations transmit information, so-called transmitters of the communication system. Second is receiver. Receiver receives information. For example, TV sets, radio sets, and they give information that is transmitted through the transmitter. Between transmitter and receiver, there is a communication channel. The communication channel is a path through which the signal propagates from transmitter to receiver. This channel may be wired or wireless. In case of wire, it is called line channel, and in case of wireless, it is called radio channel. So, for any information exchange, we require 3 things: transmitter, receiver, and between transmitter and receiver there must be a channel. Next topic is elements of communication system. As we know that in our day-to-day life we have information in the form of sound, picture, speech, data, etc. And to send these type of information over a long distance, we first convert the information in electrical form with the help of input transducer. After converting in electrical form, it is sufficient for transmitting via transmitter. Transmitter is an electronic circuit in which there is a modulation process. While transmitting information over a communication channel, there may be a noise. This noise is additive in nature. So, the information is transmitted over a communication channel plus some noise. This information is received by a receiver. A receiver is also an electronic circuit, but here there is a process that is called demodulation. Demodulation is inverse of modulation. So, after receiving information in electrical form, output transducer is used to get information in original form. So, in any communication system, the elements are information, transmitter, communication channel, noise, and receiver. So, the first element is information. Since the communication system communicate messages, and the messages come from the information sources. For example, human voice, picture, data, music, and their combination. So these messages pass through input transducer. Input transducer is microphone, TV camera, etc. After converted messages in electrical form, they are transmitted via transmitter. So transmitter is a collection of electronic circuit that is designed to convert the messages into suitable form that passes through a communication medium. Next is communication channel. Communication channel is a medium by which electronic signal is transmitted from one place to another, that is between transmitter and receiver. The communication channel may be conducting wire, coaxial cable, optical fiber cable, or free space. So, depending on the type of communication medium, the communication system is divided into 2 categories. First is wire communication and second is wireless communication. Wire communication is also called line communication and examples are telegraphy, telephony. In wire communication, there is actually two physical wires or conductors that run between transmitter and receiver. But in case of radio communication, for example radio or TV broadcasting, satellite communication, there is no physical means of wire between transmitter and receiver that carries the signal, but the information is exchanged using transmitting antenna and receiving antenna. While propagating through a communication channel, there may be a noise. Noise is additive in nature. So what is noise? Noise is random, undesirable electrical energy that enters the communication system via a communication channel and it interferes the transmitted messages. The noise may be of two types, natural and man-made. Natural noise is produced by nature, for example lightning during rainy season, radiation produced by the sun or other stars. But a man-made noise is produced by electric system of cars, electric motors, fluorescent lights, etc. So after propagating through a communication channel, there must be a noise. So the noisy signal is received at the receiver. So a receiver is a collection of electronic circuit that is designed in such a way so that a signal is converted back to the original information, and it consists of amplifier, detector, mixture, oscillator, transducers and many more. And to get the information in original form, we require an output transducer. The output transducer may be loudspeaker, TV, computer monitor, etc. So in communication system, there is a method that is called modulation at the transmitter side and demodulation at the receiving side. So we first talk about modulation technique. In the modulation process, we require two signals. First is called modulating signal or baseband signal or message signal, that is denoted by m function of t. T is time. This modulating signal is generally a low frequency signal. So in order to transmit this low frequency signal over a long distance, we require a modulation technique. In modulation technique, we use a carrier signal. This carrier signal is a sinusoidal signal and it is of very high frequency signal. So in the modulation process, some parameter of the carrier wave such as amplitude, frequency or phase is changed in accordance with the message signal or modulating signal. So this is the definition of the modulation process, that is the parameter, amplitude, frequency or phase of the carrier signal is changed according to the message signal. For example, when the amplitude is changed, it is called amplitude modulation, denoted by AM. In case of frequency modulation, the frequency of the carrier is changed according to the message signal, that is FM. And in case of phase modulation, the phase of the carrier is changed according to the message signal, called PM. So after modulation process at the transmitter side, the signal is called modulated signal. Before modulation, it is called modulating signal, that is called message signal, but after modulation, it is called modulated signal. So this modulated signal is transmitted by a transmitter with the help of communication channel and received by a receiver. At the receiver side, we have a demodulation process. Demodulation is exactly opposite of the modulation, and with the help of demodulation we get a original information at the receiver side. So we can say that in the modulation process, the baseband signal such as video, voice, modifies another high frequency signal that is called a carrier signal. The carrier signal is usually a sinusoidal signal and it is of high frequency. The frequency of the carrier signal is much larger than the message signal, and the message signal modifies the amplitude, frequency and phase of the carrier in the modulation process. So at the transmitter side we use an electronic circuit that is called a modulator. The input of the modulator is modulating signal or message signal and carrier signal. Here the carrier signal is a high frequency signal as compared to modulating signal, and after modulation process the output of the modulator is called modulated signal. So in the process of modulation the carrier wave is actually act as a carrier which carries the information from transmitter to receiver. This is a situation similar to a person travel in his own car or bike from one place to another. Here the person is viewed as a modulating signal or message signal, while the car or bike view as a carrier.